Hello and welcome to part 5 of this series. In this video, I will be showing you how to create complex objects. For this, I will be using the path, union, and difference tools, as well as showing you the differences between union versus combined versus grouping. To begin, I have 3 objects that I'll be working with here: a polygon, a circle, and a Bezier path. First, I want to create a difference of the polygon and the circle. For this, I would select the top object, the polygon, select the bottom object, shift-click, the bottom object, select path, and difference. This creates the difference between the top object and the bottom object, meaning that it essentially cuts out the sections here which are visibly peeking out from underneath. I'm going to repeat the process with the polygon and the Bezier path on top to create another complex object using this difference technique. It cuts out the section which is overlaid on top of the bottom object. The difference tool is probably the easiest one, just in the sense that by seeing where it is on top, you can get a gauge of what is actually going to be cut out. This would cut out everything beyond this point from the perimeter of the circle, leaving just these areas on the edge. There is also the union tool and the combine tool, which you can use to create a singular object. The union tool takes the object on the lowest level, on the lowest layer. So if I were to push this one down, create a union again, it would be black versus orange. You can combine this object and it'll keep the paths in the middle sections, as well as take the style, the path stroke from the top objects. Yellow stroke color and black versus the last object in this layer, which would be the orange rectangle. You can combine these techniques as well to create different objects. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this circle here, and by shift-clicking these objects, I select the first object which it touches, and I'm going to create a union for this section and combine this with a difference, leaving a circle in the center. An easy way to show this is when you have 2 objects, the union will be everything included based on the 2 outlined portions of the top and bottom object, whereas difference would be what is not a shared area between the 2, versus an intersection, which is just what exists in both selected objects. I can adjust the color here so that you can see this a little bit more easier. So again, this would be the intersection point. Versus exclusion, which is what is beyond, what is intersected. This would be the intersection, and anything faded out would be what is in the exclusion portion. Just going through the other option here. Division will actually cut out a path underneath the bottom object. You won't actually notice too much going on here. I may give a better example in another video for this. You will be able to drag out portions of this where it has sliced a path out. Normally you would not be able to do that with other areas. Again, it has sliced that portion out, but it's harder to see because it has removed the fill color in this case. I will show a better demonstration of this in a later video. You can group your objects together. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste this first to show you how you might use the eraser tool. Grouping the objects together and selecting the eraser tool. By dragging it across an ungrouped section, you can remove portions of anything which is inside. Can't do this with a grouped path. Can't select the patterns properly to do that. You can also select it to remove whatever it touches, the whole object. If you want to edit specific items, just erasing portions. The red shows a guideline of what will be removed if you actually are touching an object which is ungrouped. It also works on our complex object below. So that's just a basic usage of what you can do. They do have images here which will attempt to help you when you are creating your complex objects. The gray area is what will be included in your content, and if you see a little section here where it shows lines instead of a solid gray, it will actually maintain the stroke of the underlying or previous objects, the top or bottom objects. You can also break apart your objects into the pieces that make it up. Here, because there is no fill, it's a little bit difficult to move these parts around, but it gives you a good sense of all the components of your complex objects when you break it apart this way.